Hello, I'm Trent Goodmanson. I'm here in my studio, my somewhat messy studio. I'm getting ready for a show in Santa Fe. I'm selecting paintings to go out there right now. It's all going to be themed with restaurant interior paintings. I'll show you a few of those in a minute. But in framing these things, I order my frames in bulk. I spend a lot of money at once and get a bit of a discount. And frequently, in the course of looking through 30 or 40 frames, I'll get one or two that that have warped a little bit, or more commonly, the corners have broken apart. These are closed corner frames, but when it cracks in the corner, it of course ruins that the look of it being a nice closed frame. These are very high quality frames, but they look, so that they are high quality frames and they look like high quality frames, but they're luckily a lot cheaper than what you pay for something similar. Let me show you a couple examples of these frames. So you can see that it looks like a hand carved frame, but it's just compo. So it's fake. It's just pressed on there and gilded, but it looks quite nice. And I've done various styles. This one, I've already done most of the work, but you can see how big of a crack there used to be in the corner. It had just come apart, and I've used this style many times before, and it looks just fine. It just happens to be that this particular one, I don't know if the wood contracted or something, but it had quite a bit of warpage, not in the pieces of molding themselves, but just from that happening, it got out of square. So I put it on this piece of, well, it's actually a stack of masonite panels. I just use those to paint on eventually after I prime them. But it's nice and flat now, a nice hard, flat, perfectly level surface, so that I can get it to lay flat. Therefore, it'll lay flat against the wall once I get it up there. So that takes care of the warpage issue. And then to hold it, I just mix up a little bit of this JB Weld, and I like the black or the gray because it kind of matches the antiquing color that is in the corner, and it's easier to hide. And sometimes I don't even have to cover it up because it's so much the color of the antiquing that I already use that it's pretty easy to fix up. So I fill that first, and I've actually done some pretty fancy things with this. I've done things not quite as fancy as the gold frame I showed you a minute ago, but things similar to that. And even though it does dry quickly, you can sculpt it and kind of make your own corners. So if I wanted to, I could cover this up with like something that looks like a leaf, or some other kind of fancy design that you typically find on a nicer frame. But in this case, I'm just going to cover it and sand it and paint it to match. Actually, I probably don't even have to match or to sand this. It's pretty smooth here, just from continually working it while it's curing and hardening. And then after, it's really important to do this first to fill it, because afterwards I pre-drill and counter drill, so that it countersinks, and then drive a nice deep screw into each corner. So it goes this way and that way, and that'll hold it tight so it doesn't split again, and so it won't split apart that way from the screws, and it won't compress this way from the filler. And plus it's nice and sticky, so it works really well. So frequently there are pieces of metal already in here, nails or whatever, so sometimes I have to try multiple times, but and yep, I hit a screw there. So So I'm gonna try it again. There we go. I could feel this nail in there, but I missed it. Let me grab a screw. This is not anything fancy. It's just a screw that's going to be long enough to go through the other side. And I was sure to not go too deep on when I drilled the hole, because I want to have plenty of room for it to grab. So I only went this deep on the drill, and that way it has that much extra to grab on its own. So actually, I'm not going to countersink this one. Well, I will, but I don't have to drill it. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. My other battery pack is charging right now. So since I'm filming one-handed, I'm going to hold this with my other foot. Let's see. So just drive it in. And if it does drive in on its own, then I know that it's got a good secure hold. And so I just do that on all 8 corners. So 4 corners, but 2 on each side. Although I'm sure I could get away with just 1. And now I'll go back in with some more of that JB Weld and just stick it in the holes. And if I want to get this same look, then it looks like it's gold leaf that's been put on top of black paint or black primer, and then they've gone over it with steel wool or sandpaper to make these lines. And so if I want to match that perfectly, all I'd have to do is go over the black or gray of that JB Weld, or if it's another color, just prime it a different color, and then use this stuff. This is something I've used on and off for years for different things, but it's only recently that I started using it for these frames, so I was a little worried about how it would look. But after seeing a friend do it on his really nice frames and high quality in high quality galleries, I felt better about it. It's just rub and buff. It's kind of smells like spray paint when you use it, but I just get a little bit on my fingers and rub it on. These are a couple different colors. Looks like that one's gold leaf, that one's Grecian gold. It's just slightly different colors of gold, and I'll mix them back and forth to match. So that's that frame. Got some old ones here, dusty ones that I'm going to be fixing up. Here's a new one from actually a hobby store, and I think it's a nice profile, so I'm gonna fix that up. I'm looking around right now to see if I have a finished version of that I could show you. Let's see here. I'll look through my stacks. Here's my stack of frames that I'm either fixing up or have plans for, and here are some of the pre-purchased ones. Let's see here. So yeah, here are two versions of that one I just showed you. This one's slightly more silver, that one's slightly more yellow gold. And these are, so I filled the corners with putty and painted it with black spray paint and also with like a red primer, a brownish red primer. And gold leafed them. I spilled something on that, I'll have to wipe it off. Gilded them with actually metal gold, so it's not true real karat gold leaf. And then steel wooled it on top of that very lightly to allow the red and black to show through on the raised parts. And then with casing paint, and you can do this with acrylic paint too, but I like casing. You can just buy it from any of the big art stores online. Mixed up a gray color, watered it down quite a bit, rubbed it on or sponged it on, and then wipe it off with a damp rag. And that's the way I do frames. or fixed frames that I've purchased. And yeah, so you can see a few of the paintings I've been doing lately. And here are some of the ones I'm sending out very soon. So those black frames look much better on these than the gold ones, in my opinion. Here's a really simple one that I still need to, I just spray painted it, and I'm gonna do a little bit of touching up to the gold to make it look a little bit more, I don't know, less machine made. And I'll use some of the casein paint as well and do a kind of little bit of a antiquing. And it'll look somewhat similar to this when it's done. Although I need to fix up this one. And it's dusty, but this is casein in here. Anyway, all right. Well, I hope that's helpful, or at least gives you something to think about if you want to make some nice frames on your own and save some money. And yeah, hopefully that's helpful. I'm actually working on editing and uploading a demonstration of this one, and I shot it on 2 different cameras, and I had trouble. So I did it a couple weeks ago, and haven't gotten it up yet. But look forward to that. Hopefully I'll get that up, and if not, I'll shoot another one soon, so you can see some more demonstrations by me. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.